Today's WNEM TV5 Evening Extra is brought to you by the Law Office of Carol Thomas.
Thanks for joining us for TV5 Evening Extra. The immigration debate fired up again in Bay City as commissioners prepare to once again weigh whether to become a welcoming city. While it's drummed up a lot of emotional opinions, the mayor hopes people will also consider the legal opinion. TV5's James Felton tells us when you'll be able to read that for yourself.
I thought the public should see what went into the factors, why I evaluated the last year's resolution the way I did, getting legal guidance like we should from our city attorney.
That's why Bay City Mayor Christopher Gerard got approval from the City Commission to release the legal opinion regarding last year's welcoming city resolution and potential impacts to the community if it had passed. Gerard vetoed the welcoming city resolution after it was approved by the City Commission. This year, 7th Ward Commissioner Christopher Runberg is planning to reintroduce resolution language to make Bay City a welcoming city. The new language should be available on Wednesday. Gerard tells us the city attorney will also give their legal opinion on that as well.
The goal is to have them available by our meeting on next Monday, February 16th, and to have those online so the public can review those.
Gerard says it's important for the public to see what commissioners have to consider before making their choice on any resolution that may involve potential liability for Bay City.
I don't personally believe that the commission should take any action at all before seeing a legal opinion, just because it would put the city in jeopardy.
James Felton, WNEM TV5.
Commissioner Runberg plans to introduce his new resolution at the City Commission meeting on February 16th, pending the release of the city attorney's legal opinion on that resolution. Take a good look at your screen. This woman, 67-year-old Deborah K. Smith, is missing. The Bay City Department of Public Safety says she was last seen November 27th at the Liberty Party Store at 3rd and Madison. Investigators believe she was heading to Saginaw. She does not drive or have a cell phone, and she uses a metallic blue walker. Anyone with information is urged to call the Bay City Department of Public Safety or Crime Stoppers. Continuing coverage, police need your help to find the person who shot and injured a teenager in Saginaw yesterday afternoon. Investigators say they were called to Federal Avenue and 3rd Street. The 16-year-old was taken to a hospital and is expected to survive. No one is in custody yet, so if you have any information, call Saginaw Police. A follow-up to the tragic story out of Genesee County after a police officer died by suicide. There's now a GoFundMe to support Flint officer Charles Redmond's family and cover his funeral costs. As we've reported, investigators say he was found outside the Trinity Assembly of God Church in Mount Morris Township Sunday afternoon. According to the city of Flint, he had served there since December of 2020 and received Officer of the Month awards for outstanding job performance 3 times, most recently in April of last year. If you'd like to donate to his family, you'll find that GoFundMe in the Hot Links section on WNEM.com.
And no secret about it, it certainly was a lot warmer across mid-Michigan for today. Temperatures surging around 5 to 10 degrees above average this afternoon, and some even had a chance to touch the 40s earlier today. Not the case anymore. Places like Midland, MBS, and Bay City all pretty close to that, as well as Mount Pleasant at 38 and 39. Saginaw, you're at 37. Flint at 36, and Port Hope currently checking in at about 35. Compared to this time last night, 10 to 15 degrees above that in most locations. So it still even feels that way at this hour, with wind chills only trailing temperatures by a few degrees, with many in the at least 30s for the wind chill and upper 20s in some of our cooler spots. As far as the wind goes, northwesterly between 5 and 15, and most between 5 and 10. That wind should stay roughly in that range for tonight. We take a live look at downtown Saginaw, where the streets are dry and they're also clear. We're not really anticipating widespread precipitation, but there could be a few flurries later on tonight. We're not not seeing too many of those for the moment, but you can get hints of that if you look towards the north. However, we're not expecting any significant accumulations, and we should be able to get through tonight just fine. Your forecast for the next 12 hours shows that steady drop into the 20s by early tomorrow under cloudy skies. The rest of your forecast, including more days in the 40s, coming up.
Thank you, Chris. President Donald Trump is threatening to block the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge between Detroit and Canada. TV5's Zaino Mayer spoke with an expert on how that threat could affect our state's overall economy.
The fact that Canada will control what crosses the Gordie Howe Bridge and owns the land on both sides is unacceptable to the president. It's also unacceptable that more of this bridge isn't being built with more American-made materials.
President Donald Trump threatening to prevent the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge unless Canada makes concessions to the U.S. In a Truth Social post Monday, Trump says Canada wants a trade deal with China, also criticizing the country, saying Ontario won't put U.S. alcoholic products on its shelves and complaining of tariffs on U.S. dairy products.
He also believes that the U.S. should own at least half of the bridge, have shared authority over what passes across it, and participate in the economic benefits generated by its use.
The bridge, which connects Detroit to Windsor, is expected to provide another route across the busy international border area between Michigan and Ontario, especially for commercial trucks.
You have auto parts being manufactured on one side of the border, and then shipped to the other side of the border to be finished in the manufacturing process. So those economies are very intertwined.
Chris Douglas is a professor of economics at the University of Michigan-Flint. He says a short-term delay in the opening wouldn't likely have a major impact, but a prolonged closure could.
The longer-term issue is, well, if truck traffic increases, if passenger car traffic increases, maybe that will outgrow the Ambassador Bridge. You have lots of Americans who live in Southeast Michigan who work in Canada and vice versa, which means that if those crossings get disrupted, well, then those jobs get disrupted as well.
And if there are disruptions to the supply chain, consumers could be the ones to feel it.
So if those supply chains get disrupted, then you see what we saw during the pandemic where there's random shortages. You need to buy a new car. You can't find a new car because the part made in Canada can't be shipped to the US. You see prices go up because of the shortage of supplies. That pushes prices up. So consumers just get a headache in terms of, I want to buy something. It's either gone way up in price or it's just a shortage.
The bridge is jointly owned by Canada and the state of Michigan, but once again, Trump suggests the U.S. should own at least half of the bridge and says negotiations will start immediately.
We really want to be able to serve as many people as we can, make it easier for people.
And dozens of families have food on the table tonight thanks to a giveaway at Delta College this morning. Cars lined up at the downtown Saginaw Center to stock up on necessities.
We had a barrier grant available to help feed the students and help with the community to go ahead and make this possible for the people in our area.
The United Way of Saginaw County and the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan also helped with this giveaway. There's another food distribution at Dow Diamond in Midland on March 17th. The site of a Bay City fire station will get decontaminated thanks to nearly $1 million in federal funding. The money will support the cleanup of PFAS contamination at Fire Station 2. The money comes from the 2026 Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development Appropriations Bill. The city became aware of that PFAS contamination at the station in late 2019, which was then linked to a leaking container and past training exercises. The city says federal money supports the cleanup, including the excavation and disposal of contaminated materials and demolition of the existing structure. Saginaw Township Community Schools is making another attempt to make critical improvements to their facilities with a more than $94 million bond proposal. If it's approved, district officials say the bond would cost owners with a home value of $120,000 about $5 a month. The proposal does not include new buildings or athletic projects and is limited to safety, security, and critical upgrades. A public informational session will happen soon, but no date is set yet. The bond proposal will be on the ballot for the May 5th election. A 3-day event for the love of cars. The Chrome and Ice Show kicks off Back to the Bricks, the types of vehicles showcased, and how you can help local students continue their education after the break. Learn the history of how our community was built. Still ahead, the free presentation at the Historical Museum of Bay County.
When students put their phones down, their grades go up. Right now, we really need to help our kids succeed.
Which is why Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed a bill this morning that bans students from using their phones in class. It takes effect next school year after receiving bipartisan support. Many state leaders are thrilled about this change. But how do local parents and superintendents feel? TV5's James Felton shares what he found out.
I know for myself and other public school superintendents, we are grateful for the governor signing this.
Carroll Community Schools Superintendent George Ryerson talking about a new state law taking effect in the fall that bans cell phones in school during instruction time, with certain exceptions for emergencies. Beginning in the 2026-27 academic year, school districts must implement a policy that bans the use of cell phones during classroom time.
There's enough freedom in the act that schools can put in place what works locally for their district and their students. But we know we have the backing and support, again, of the governor and the legislature.
We talked to parents in Saginaw Township to get their thoughts on this new state law.
I feel like the kids be distracted. Like they text during home for dumb stuff. They be distracted on the phone. They be making TikToks in school. They just don't need them. They don't need them. Before school, after school, okay, but during school, no.
I kind of get it why they're going that way. It's a problem, I'm sure.
It's good, too, if they can have it, like, for emergency, if they need to call home for emergency, but not during class hours.
Ryerson points out that many school districts have cell phone policies in place, but now they have state law to back them up.
Just putting in place some common sense structure in our day to help us focus on learning, to help us focus on building positive relationships and making sure every student is connected is really going to be helpful for schools.
James Felton, WNEM TV5.
The city of Flint is clarifying that anyone receiving a water settlement payment will not have it taxed by the city. The city says with many class action settlements, the federal government issues a 1099 used to report various types of non-salary income. The city wants to clarify those tax forms are not issued by them. More local news. Jack's Fruit and Meat Market in Bay County is celebrating its reopening following a fire in December. The Hampton Township store has since been repaired. The inside has a new coat of paint and the shelves have all new products. They say reopening day has been great and they missed seeing their shoppers. First responders trained to provide aid for those in need. But who's responding to them when they are in need? Now, there's a first-of-its-kind program in Genesee County to do just that. TV5's Zane Omer reports the program couldn't come at a more crucial time.
Behind the badge and gear, first responders face pressures most people never see.
The average person, 5 to 8 times in their lifetime, they're going to see a critical incident and live through one. The average police officer, 600 to 700 over the course of a 25-year career.
Now, Grambling Township Police and Fire are launching a new peer support team, a group of first responders trained to help their own.
Something we've been talking about internally for some time, and then following the LDS church event, kind of came to the foreground, and the benefits of it came into place.
The 9 team members from both departments going through peer support training through the International Critical Incident Stress Foundation, learning how to listen, offer support, and connect coworkers with additional help when needed.
Just being able to relate with others, being able to diffuse them when they come out of a critical incident, being able to show them resources to go to, and being an ear so that you can help them determine where they need to go, really from that point, and understanding the stress that's involved.
The program is designed to address everything from critical incidents to the everyday stress that builds up over time.
You try to move past it, but there's always the times that are, that you hold on to things, and you drive by certain areas, you think of calls, or you see something and it sparks it. And it's always there.
The team's launch comes as another department is in mourning. State Police investigating the death of Flint police officer and canine handler Charles Redmond on Sunday as a suicide.
That's the worst thing that can ever happen to a police department. We don't want that to happen. We feel like this is something that we can put in place beforehand that can be available to our staff members, that they can come to in all confidentiality and will be held, and it's a place to begin that process so that it never ends in tragedy.
And as first responders answer calls for rescue, the team wants them to know it's okay to ask for help too.
The adage of this is what you signed up for kind of thing needs to go away. I think we need to embrace it. It's okay not to be okay, and that the weakness is in suppressing that versus seeking the help that you need.
In Grambling Township, St. Omer, WNEM TV5.
The team stresses they are not licensed counselors, but they do have a clinician on the team. Support is voluntary and confidential. More local news, calling all gearheads and car enthusiasts. The 11th annual Chrome and Ice Car Show pulls into Flint's Dorp Financial Center on Friday. The theme is For the Love of Cars. The 3-day show is the first event for this year's Back to the Bricks tour and will feature a collection of home-built rides, classic sports and muscle cars, trucks, and a featured display on the ice. Ahead of the Chrome and Ice show, you can attend the VIP experience. That event on Thursday benefits scholarships for high school seniors pursuing higher education. You can find more information in our hot links section on WNEM.com. Here's a live look over the Saginaw River in Bay City, where this weekend you can learn how decades of shipping shaped our economy. The Historical Museum of Bay County is inviting your family to the second Saturday series with Todd Shorkey. This event focuses on the history of the Saginaw River using his own drone photography. During that presentation, you'll learn about recent trends in river traffic, types of products delivered over the past 20 years, recent dredging on the upper Saginaw River, and the logs brought up in the process. Saturday's presentation on shipping in the Saginaw River starts at 1.
It'll look outside at downtown Flint, where things are dry tonight, and we expect it to remain that way for most of mid-Michigan as we work through the near term. There is a front that is coming through later on tonight that could lead to a few scattered snow showers, but nothing that's terribly noteworthy. And I think the bigger focus over the next several days is going to be the fact that our temperatures should be much warmer. Tonight, we're only staying in the 20s around much of the area, 20 to about 25 degrees for most of mid-Michigan. Average is right around 16, so we'll be above that mark. And then as we head into tomorrow, expecting our highs to be cooler than today, but at least closer to average, which is right around the upper 20s to low 30s. I will say our wind chill probably a bit cooler for tomorrow. Our winds expected to be right around 20 to 30 miles per hour with the gusts. We expect a sustained flow out of the northwest between about 10 and 15. So I think it'll pick up from time to time, especially if you're in the thumb, but it doesn't really stick around long. I think as we go through Wednesday evening, it starts to drop off, and then into Thursday, I don't think we'll see quite as much wind as high pressure establishes itself a little bit more. As far as what happens after this week, our temperatures are expected to remain above average in the long term. It seems like we've got a better chance from February 18th through the 24th to be above average. Is every day going to be in the 40s? No, but if our average is 30, all it takes is a couple of days in the 30s to 35, maybe 36. So I think we'll have plenty of those days moving forward. Now, we're in a decent position right now. Great Lakes ice coverage is up to about 58.3%. So a couple of warm days based on what we've been building the last several weeks is not going to put us in a critical position tomorrow or anything like that. I would still, of course, use the same safety that you always do. But I think it's once we start getting into next week where some of those warmer days might be a little bit more consistent, where I think you'll start to see a bigger change rather than in the next couple of days. Your first alert, pinpoint Doppler radar shows we've got some flurries showing up to the north. Not a ton, but just enough on radar. Some of that, again, could find its way through the rest of the region a little bit later on tonight. Your hour-by-hour forecast shows some scattered snow flurries right through about midnight or so. Then the rest of the night, we don't see much of anything. Going through Wednesday, we'll likely see a few more scattered snow showers throughout the day, probably just in the form of flurries. And most of us also on Wednesday are not expected to see much. Your 7-day shows the temperatures this weekend will likely be near 40. We'll also have some sunshine. And then going into early next week, we'll see more 40s on Monday and even more so on Tuesday. And those 40s that come with sun, I think that's where we're really going to start to make some differences with the remaining snowpack that we have and also some of that remaining ice.
Thank you, Chris. All News Tonight. It's been more than a year since the devastating fires in California, and one business is looking to create positives. The legendary sounds and purpose of wood-burned Fender guitars in tonight's Can't Miss Moment on the news at 10 on the Great Lakes Sports and Entertainment Network. Then on TV5 News at 11, a push in Michigan for a tax holiday on school supplies. A store operator's take on that proposal. Also at 11, the effects of historic contamination felt by families in a Florida neighborhood. Why their homes have to go. And if you want to hear more about our weather, go to our digital live stream at 9 tonight. You can join it at WNEM.com, on the YouTube and TV5 Facebook pages, on our Roku and Fire Stick TV channels, and on the TV5 News app. Thanks for joining us for WNEM Evening Extra. You can keep up with us on our socials, and we'll see you at 11.